Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. My name is James, and I am the keeper for today's game of Call of Cthulhu. We are taking a little break from the Order of the Stone to play a one-shot from the Does Love Forgive book, which you can check out. It's now available on Roll20. And we'll go into some more detail about it in just a second and talk about all the cool things that are going to happen. But first of all, with no character names below their actual names. How weird is that? Because we kind of do it. You'll see. It's going to be heaps of fun. But let me introduce the cast. Fantastic as they always are. First of all, let's start with Jackson.
That's me. I'm Jackson. I'm playing Jackson.
That's about how it is, exactly.
What can I say?
Yeah, let me ask you this: Valentine's Day, pro or con?
We let it pass us by. We wave as it goes past with a vague acknowledgement that yes, Rachel and I are still comfortable, quietly ignoring it. But
Okay.
we're not against it. We're not like militantly anti-Valentine's Day.
All right, yeah, there you go. Fantastic. We also have Alex joining us, and
Hi.
same question. Valentine's Day, positive, negative.
Man, Joe was never in the country for it, so like
What can you do? Such as
it's just another day.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, yes. Thanks to you both. And yeah, we are playing Does Love Forgive, specifically the first scenario, Love You to Death. So this book was released for Valentine's Day, and we are close enough to Valentine's Day that I figured it would be kind of fun to jump into. And although the book was released a couple of years ago, it, as I mentioned, has just had a release on Roll20, so you can go and check that out. Now, these scenarios are typically designed as one-on-one scenarios. So they are meant to be played with a single keeper and a single player. They're much more focused on, like story and development for a single investigator as opposed to a wider group. But
you know what we do with solo scenarios on this channel?
Exactly. We
Many-headed investigator.
So that is exactly what we're going to do here. We have got the single investigator prescribed by the scenario, a private detective, and we are going to take them for all they're worth. We're going to make the most of the situation. So let's jump in then to the scenario. It is 1920s period, and we are in Chicago. This is the period of architectural renaissance, of gangsters, crime, all that kind of fun stuff. You are a private detective, so you have contacts in the criminal world, you have contacts in the police world a little bit. Let me throw out one early question to the two of you, just to really set the tone of things. Are you good at your job, do you reckon? How talented are you at actually being a private detective?
I mean, I actually think we're pretty good at it.
60 education.
Stats, right?
We got 60 education, slightly above average, 80 intelligence, so super smart. So, maybe it's not our calling, but we're certainly capable.
Okay, yeah, pretty good.
I don't think we're going to make partner at like the big private investigating law firm. I presume that's how career progression works.
We'll see. I think, we're pretty observant. We're pretty good at reading people. Like, I think we're pretty good. I think we think we're good at it.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. And more importantly, I guess, because that's, I suppose, where you're trying to find another job throughout the course of the scenario. Do you enjoy your work? No, you're happy where you are, you reckon? Not secretly. Okay, that's good.
It's okay until something better comes along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I think it may be not our calling, but we'll make the most of it for now.
Okay, perfect. Well, so this scenario is going to have a lot of opportunities for the two of you to really inject some of your own ideas into this character. And to that end, so we're using the basic private investigator kind of profile. that is suggested by the Keeper rulebook, but we've also got a bunch of freewheeling stats. So both of you have in your pocket, because you're a seasoned investigator, and since there's only one of you against the world in this point, you can have a few more skill points. So both of you can grab 100 total points and have them sitting in a back pocket that you're going to be able to toss in at random points. Don't boost anything to 90 or something like that. That would be ridiculous, unless it's a funny skill, in which case I think, yeah, boost it to 90. That'll be...
Other animals.
Exactly.
90.
Yeah. All of the most important stuff. So we're going to kick off on a pretty important day in the history of Chicago and the sort of detective.
Shit, okay.
Yeah.
Hang on, I know where you're going
Where
with
it's
this.
Valentine's Day specifically.
Day.
We're starting the day after the St. Valentine's Day massacre. So
no!
Inside your office, we'll assume that you're still freelancing at this point, so you know it's a small affair. The newspapers that you gather together to keep abreast of the crime beat are splashed with these absolutely gory images of the recent murder spree that has taken the entire city by storm, and everybody's talking about it. But the two of you are going to have a little bit more to handle, because a lot of things are all happening at once. You've got on one side this massive development in the kind of local landscape of Chicago. But where we will kick off our story, you opened your door, and one of your oldest friends, a woman named Hattie Mae, has collapsed into your arms, and she's crying. Let's throw out a couple of questions. Let's start with Jackson. Tell us about the detective's office. How do you keep your space? Are you a neat person? Is it messy? Is it grizzled? You've been sleeping on the couch, or have you got like tea out to make people feel comfortable as they come in?
I think it's more of a homey thing. I don't know. I think maybe this investigator, this yet unnamed investigator, realized that it's Great Depression on the way. Has it happened?
The Great Depression is on the way.
Still on the way.
Okay, yeah.
No, it's funny anyway. Why pay 2 rent when 1 rent do trick?
Yeah, fair enough.
Let's just live in the office, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Is it spilling out, or is it? Have you kept it kind of contained?
I think we think it's kept
super
running,
high
but-
intelligence. Yeah, maybe like think it's contained, but really isn't. You know, so we're going for high intelligence. This is like I'm getting like a Sherlock Holmes kind of vibe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes, where everything's a mess, but he doesn't realize.
I like it.
Yeah, it makes total sense to us.
Yeah, fantastic. No, that's perfect. And speaking of which, we should ask about names then, because names are going to get pretty important right away. I have a great idea of how we're going to name this character. I'd like both of you to think of a first name in your head. And then can I get both of you to roll a D100? So get your first name down, and we'll both roll a D100. Put you both on the spot here a little bit. Yep, okay. Jackson, you ready?
Oh, okay. Well, I can't access my.
Oh, yep, I'm ready.
Stream Deck
I'm
because
ready.
my cat is sitting on it.
That is
now I've got it.
fair enough. So both of you roll D100, and just going to decide which of the first names goes first. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So as the more successful roll, considering it's lower, Jackson, first name?
Thaddeus.
Thaddeus. Oh, amazing. Last name?
Valentino.
Thaddeus Valentino. Okay. Thaddeus Valentino, living...
That's a private investigator name right there.
That is a hell of a name. Okay, so let's... Alex, I'm going to jump to you for a second because I want to know how you're reacting to Hattie, your friend who's just collapsed into your arms. The first little bit of background. You are an orphan. You grew up in an orphanage, and you grew up alongside Hattie Mae. She is an old friend of yours, and you've known her for as long as you can remember. You've always been pretty close. There was a pretty tight group of you at the orphanage for a while. There was some awkwardness where for a while it was assumed that you and her might be an item, and that kind of broke up the friendship group a little bit that you had, but that's all long in the past. And she's married, and you've just been close friends for a long while. I say she is married. Well, she's recently widowed, recently as of the newspaper.
Okay.
Yeah. How are you reacting to this? Someone collapses into your arms. Her husband has just died, and she's come to her closest friend, which is you.
Was he Irish or Italian?
He was not part of the mob. He was.
That's even worse.
He was
innocent bystander.
He was a mechanic, and the massacre occurred basically, just outside, but it was attached to a car mechanics building, and he appears to have been an innocent bystander. Probably had some like mob connections, but it's Chicago in the 1920s. Who doesn't? Only your grandmother, and even then, only if she's not very cool.
I have a government historical knowledge to fill in. What's the news? What is this Valentine's Day massacre that I'm hearing so much about?
It's basically the Irish and the primarily the Irish and Italian mobs. One of the Irish mob was moving in on some of Al Capone's business activities. It's never been conclusively proven who was involved or who started it, but odds are on Al Capone's kind of beat-em-up gang. And it's basically where Al Capone got his reputation from. And it completely changed the whole landscape of who was in charge of basically every gang. It was really the inciting point of there being a grand don of the mafia. Like, it is the moment that kind of changed everything and made the Italian mafia bigger than big. It was very Irish before that.
Gotcha.
And it's the event that made Al Capone and took him down at the same time.
I'm going to out myself as not being real crash hot on either gangster history or specifically naming. Is it Al Capone or Capone? Because that's totally one of the ones that I could see with like I don't know which one it is. Should we go with Capone? I presume we've established that one.
These are all things that I've read and not heard. So you know what?
I have no idea. Anyway, at any rate,
Chat will tell me.
Scarface, I believe, was his nickname, and he's only going to be relevant for about that long. He is behind all of this, basically maybe unproven.
Capone.
Capone. But basically went into a he sent a bunch of people into a mechanics thing, and they were maybe pretending to be cops or something like that. They pulled out people and shot them against a wall. Seems to be about the sum of it. So very bloody, very dramatic, and Hattie May was the name she took for her husband. She's named James, but and understandably a little torn up, although not so much as her husband. How is your character dealing with this, do you think, Alex?
It's definitely it is all. I mean, this is an old friend. Regardless of any of the awkwardness, this is basically. I was going to say carry her inside, but we will not be doing that with the strength of 40. Helping her inside.
Yep.
And down onto a armchair that, very quickly kind of cleaning off like yesterday's t-shirt from it, yesterday's undershirt from it.
Yeah.
There is once again the home life spilling over into the office. And it's it's like one of the chairs in front of the desk. We haven't had a client for a little while. I think we've wrapped up an investigation and are in the in-between period. So things have maybe gotten a little out of hand in the home office.
Yeah.
And helping her into the chair opposite the desk and then bustling around to get some coffee.
Yeah, you're doing
coffee. We're a coffee person.
Coffee, that makes sense, yeah, considering you're probably not so much set up for sleeping as much as long nights. You do your best to try and settle her down. Should we make a charm check or something like that at this point? I feel like that's did you end up putting any points in charm?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
yeah.
let's fire through a roll just to set the tone of the whole thing.
Or if we drop her. Oh, we both did it. Oh, no.
Oh
Okay.
no, I wasn't sure. I thought, oh, Alex is being quiet. I probably better do it. First one's conceded, so we go with the first one, right?
Okay. I think that might be down to the actual lines of how quickly it went through Roll20, because I think on the stream the first one is a failure.
Yeah.
Oh, on my end, the
Yeah, the
first
first one's
one's
a failure.
success.
There you are. I'll tell you
Alright,
what.
then.
I'll tell you what. Here's how we'll decide it. If you look at the names attached to the rolls, I don't know who this private investigator is.
Yeah,
but
my
Thaddeus
name
Valentino
came through.
failed. And
How
Fair
about if
enough.
I do the ad hoc rolls? So like the roll a d100 or roll a different, not actually clicking a skill, and you do the sheet skills.
Say that again.
If you click the sheet, and then if there's any
Sure.
ancillary rolls, like roll a
Alright.
d100 or I'll do those.
Very good. I'm just putting in the base skills because it looks like they fell out at some point.
yeah, that's probably.
But do go on.
The delineation of labor now clear. Yeah, you try your best, but you're really not making a great impression. The coffee is cold. You leave a newspaper with like a body on it, really quite close, and set off a fresh wave of sobs. It's not a good situation, but you try to do your very best to provide some level of comfort. Over the next little while, you talk to Hattie, and she basically tells you the whole story. It's a tragedy. It's unfair. They really were in love, and now he's gone. She's come to you for comfort, but she's also come to you for one more practical reason. In addition to losing her husband, she's lost her dog. He was at the scene, to be clear, and survived, but the police have taken him in, and apparently
But questioning?
apparently bit a police officer, and this is all between
Good dog.
fits of crime. I don't know. I went down to the police station, and then the queues are out the door of press and journalists and everything like that, and I couldn't even get through to anyone important. But I know you have maybe some kind of connections with the police through your work, and it's all I have left of him at this point. Anything you could do, please.
Now,
Missing
which
dog.
head is doing the role playing?
Yes.
You can just give me a general vibe.
I think there's part of the brain's like, oh, we need like a paying job.
Yeah.
But also-
on some level, it's like how much. No, we can't ask for money from our dear friend Hattie, our
really
childhood
cannot ask for money.
childhood friend. Oh man, this is literally two voices.
It's the devil and the
we're
angel
actually
on the
playing
shoulder.
the shoulder and angel on Thaddeus's shoulders. You can't ask for money. Thaddeus is
You
your
really can't
dearest
ask for money.
friend from the orphanage.
But we also need a paying job, but we also can't say no.
You could just sort of hope that some payment materializes, something like that. And basically go, you know what, yes, and then sort of when you fix everything, stand kind of nearby pointedly, hoping that it will all work out.
I mean, we could do something really dumb. I mean,
Go on.
really dumb.
I'm
Go on.
I
excited.
mean, like, just hugely stupid.
You have my attention.
So Valentine's Day Massacre, it wasn't like everybody died. A bunch of people were taken into custody.
Yeah.
If we have to go to the police station with like this, reclaim a dog mission, we will be in the police station, and maybe we can chat to. I mean, it's Chicago in the 20s. Everybody knows
It's
somebody
the-
in the mob. Maybe we can, talk to the mobsters who are left and be like, hey, who needs something?
But if
A
the lines,
message gotten into the police station. We can
well, I
our
mean, we
services
just have
there.
the lines are out the door of the police station, and people are looking for help. Maybe there's someone there who's going to want some private help.
Want some help?
Okay. All right. Well, this is you're schmoozing already. Is it safe to say that the two of you are gonna take the job?
We
Oh, yeah.
are
Yeah, we
not
have
going
saved
to spurn the quest giving NPC on this occasion.
Okay.
No, James, don't
No.
worry.
You
Perfect.
gotta take the job from your childhood friend.
Absolutely,
Whose
yes.
husband was murdered.
The scenario ends. Thanks, everyone. Back to the stinger. No, so, all right, perfect then. You get a little bit more information about Highball, the dog in question.
Nice.
Again, Hattie's husband was not affiliated with the mob, but he did kind of think
Sure.
that life was pretty cool, probably, which is why he was sort of probably standing a little too close.
Yeah, there were a bunch of people who were not affiliated with the mob who would definitely bootleggers.
Yes, there's.
But they were not affiliated with the mob, but the only people buying their products was the mob.
If the mob is the driver of the local economy, it's
Kind of hard.
to make a living without running into them.
Fair enough. Unfortunately, this guy's not needing a living anymore. But at any rate, you bite your tongue from all those terrible jokes, and you agree to help out Hattie. You're going to try and get Highball back. And after she says she's going to go back to her apartment and start, getting ready for everything. You know approximately where she lives. Sorry, no, sorry, not approximately. You know where she lives. You would have visited there and things like that before. She bids you farewell and heads off. Jackson, I'll ask you again. Can you throw out a memory from your time at the orphanage with Hattie? Just justify this friendship for me. What's something that the two of you, a group of friends, did together?
I think maybe just to mix things up, we met and we became close because Thaddeus was getting beat up, and Hattie was slightly bigger for her age and came over and saved Thaddeus from losing his I don't know, teddy bear or something.
I love that. I think that's really quite sweet.
It was a stuffed dog, of course.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah.
No, that's too far.
Well, no, it is a stuffed dog I do like though, but you've got it stashed somewhere in the.
This is like, oh man, Hattie saved my dog when we were 6 years old.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Now I can save her dog.
So once she's left, you're left sort of thinking about what connections you might have. You do know one person who works at the Chicago Police Department. You kind of got to contact everybody, whether it's in the media, in the criminal underworld, or in the police. In this case, this guy in question is a man named Bart Shikarsky. And we're gonna figure out just how high up and just how friendly he is to you with a luck roll. So Jackson, that sounds
We
like
didn't roll that luck, did we?
let's roll the luck then.
3d6.
Times 5.
Do you want to do it? Yeah, you want to do it. Yeah,
Oh, I'm on it.
And
I'm on
my
it.
cat.
I'm almost there. Here it comes. 3d6 by 5.
36 by 5.
That did not roll. I
No, it
did
did
that
not.
wrong somehow.
Unless you
3d6.
got that didn't work because it's
No, I
literally
did
3.
X instead of a star. Here it comes. 45.
45 luck,
Respectable.
and so let's roll that and see just how good Shikarsky is.
Wham, wham. Oh, I'm sorry, Alex. We said that you do the incidental rolls, and I took over.
And then I forgot,
apologies.
and then I would have had to move the cat anyway. So.
Yeah, cinnamon must be protected.
Yeah, not so good.
All right, so Officer Shikarsky, then you know him, and it's a transactional relationship. Let's just say you don't have any memories from the orphanage with Shikarsky, but this is somebody who you'd be able to at least get a word to if you rocked up at the station. What's your approach here? You could just get in a queue and try and get straight forward and you kind of like legal procedures here. You could try and sort of back channel this and say, hey, listen, I know that what's going on. Come on, it's just a dog. Let's put all this aside. But Highball's in trouble, and you need to figure this out.
Okay,
Can
well,
we-
who didn't they catch? What if we? Okay, the queue is long, right? You don't
Yes,
want to
so
just.
your local station, which you could head down to and walk pretty far past, there's journalists everywhere. There are people who are trying to get information. There's also a couple of people with actual like legitimate connections to the case who need to sort of get some legal procedures forward, as well as just like all of the other crime happening in Chicago that would happen on a day-to-day basis. Like, oh god, it would suck to have a crime that happened the day before the St. Valentine's Day massacre,
Oh my
because
God,
you are
right?
going to you're going to fall down the list a little bit.
Well, yeah, it's like if we can just take the angle of you people clearly overrun. You know, you don't need to be looking after a dog.
Dog. Yeah.
All
We're
right.
just here to take a dog off your hands.
Yeah.
But I mean, first we've got to get through this line, right?
Yeah, I mean, okay. Like, I guess, like, running through scenarios just one after the other, like, looking down a list, like, thumbing through a book, like, looking for a recipe or something. It's like, get a uniform from the council and pretend to be part of the pound coming to collect the dog.
Hey.
Go through the line, or
let me just
see who wasn't arrested, go find somebody who needs arresting, go into them and get the dog.
In case I made the line sound like an insurmountable obstacle, you can just wait in the line and get to the desk. It's just a pain.
Wait.
Yeah. And it's more like, will you be able to, like, they might just say, take a hike, buddy. We don't have time to deal with this sort of thing when you get up to the desk.
See if there's somebody in the line who we know near the front of the line cut in.
A persuade roll here in terms of, like, either you cut in or you just wait through and get to the desk. But the point is, do you manage to get someone to listen to you? Is the more critical point here. So am I hearing just like a persuade angle? Is that the
We got no persuade. We got charm.
Yeah, no.
Charming? Yeah, I can see.
It's hard to charm a crowd, I imagine.
I think
in a crowd.
I'll tell you what. Charming is going to get you up to the. Like, you find somebody who's happy to let you cut in because maybe you helped them out once with a case beforehand, and that's going to give you a chance to speak to the police without sort of expending much time. So whether or not you actually make any progress there, or have to immediately retoggle to a different plan is something else. But make a charm roll. Why not?
Let's see if we can get in without having to wait in line.
Okay. Nope. So there's no easy way to just get up. You try to get cuts from like old Mrs. Buttercup, but she politely explains that she paid the $3 to you for the case of the missing spleen, and that she is not letting you guys are square now. That was part of the deal. So if you try to get up, more to the point, like that's sort of your shot. If you want to go the persuade route. You go a law route alternatively. Remember, you do have some accessory points, both of you, that you could choose to spend on something. But if
I was thinking that could work. Like this is a dog. He's chattel. He's not a suspect.
Yeah. What do you mean you're keeping the dog? That's private property.
Yeah.
What's
That
your
doesn't
law
really
skill
work
at?
though, because people have rights to be released if they're not under arrest, whereas I don't think property does.
Like
at law school-
it's not evidence. It's a dog.
Well, I am sure that there would be some legal kind of stuff that you could pull on there. What is your law skill?
I'm sure we could. It's currently 5, but we've
Okay.
got 90 points to spend because I just realized we forgot to spend credit rating when we were doing our occupation skills. So I just had to quickly put 10 points into credit
We do
ratings.
need
Now we've got
credit rating.
90 left to spend.
Okay. All right. So you want to bump some law?
That seems like a good thing to have.
I think we should bump some law. I think it's a good one for a private investigator.
Base law is 5. We want to add 30, add 40.
Do you know what?
35?
Maybe law was what we wanted to do. Maybe we wanted to be a lawyer.
And you've fallen off the edge. That's
And
pretty funny.
we just couldn't, like...
I
Yeah.
like that. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I think a big part of being a lawyer is knowing lawyers, and it's very hard to get to a law degree when you're an orphan.
Yeah.
Exactly,
100%.
exactly. It just ended up being like a networking issue. But I think, yeah, maybe law was the calling that we haven't quite gotten there yet. So maybe we chuck like a fair bit in.
40 to bring it up to
Yeah,
45 or even
yeah.
more.
Chuck 40?
We'll do 40, and now we've got 50 spare points.
Okay.
I like that.
All right, so waiting in the queue for a while, you manage to get up to the desk and strategically time things so that Barczykarski is there when you head up to the desk itself, and kind of looks up at you, gives you a nod of acknowledgement, and says, "Valentino, better be important as you come forward." Let's get the law roll straight out there, because I'm assuming you've got all the little bits memorized that you were going over in your head.
Well, there's an element to fast talk in this, I'm sure, as well. You just have to know enough of the right words and scatter them around in order to sound convincing
You could
enough.
make a fast talk roll if you
No,
would prefer.
why would you
No,
say
no,
that?
no.
Why would you say that?
Well,
Jack?
no,
You
but
put nothing in fast
I'm
talk.
I'm saying that the skill of law contains
Oh,
fast talk within
right,
it,
okay,
because
yeah,
a
just-
large part of practicing law is bullshitting.
It's
Yes,
not.
it is
It's
simply
like if
this is
you-
the relevant law that I am selecting.
It's
Yeah.
like it's like if you get over 50 in one language, you get a certain
Yeah.
amount in another.
Exactly. It's like I feel like the law skill is if you put a bunch of points into fast talk and library use, and then that becomes law.
Fair enough. All right. Let's fire the law through. Okay.
We're not looking good.
you-
We're not
you
looking good in this whole scenario so far.
You
This
st-
is why we're not a lawyer. We're a bad lawyer.
You start making arguments, and Chikarsky immediately goes forward with, "Look, you're right. I see what you're going for here,
It's not a suspect.
but you're right. But that means that someone's got to pay for the police time, and there's going to be a fee associated. Officer Shaughnessy got bit, you see, and so there's going to be a release fee, basically.
What's it gonna cost?
It is going to cost all of the accessible money you have for this scenario. We've established you just put 10 points in credit rating. This wipes you out. You are broke for the remainder of the one shot.
Gotcha. So we got $20 in cash. We got $10 spending level.
Yeah,
So,
this cuts out everything that you have easily accessible. So
you're saying it's going to cost $30,
Ba-
which is
yeah,
all of
yeah.
our reserve and our spending level for the
well,
entire scenario.
I mean, like, more to the point, like, you probably need to save like $5 so that you could eat, the coming day. But for the purposes of like just stretching the mechanics a little bit, you don't have any money anymore if you pay for this, or you could push the
Understood.
roll, luck it to try and get it in. But otherwise, you are going to be no more bribes possible to pay. If you get into a cab and say follow that car, there's going to be some uncomfortable
I don't know.
questions.
You did say my favorite word there, Jim. Push.
Well, yeah, you could.
Well, on the other hand, like, do we have an idea about Hattie's credit rating and her husband's?
True.
Like,
I mean, your husband was a mechanic.
is there a good
so-
chance we're just going to get reimbursed?
You know what? That's a good question. It's probably down to a luck roll, isn't it? Let's.
I think it is.
Yeah. Let's get a luck roll.
Oh,
Okay, Hattie's had a family, had a via her husband, stuff like that, had a bit of money. No, the family she created. She is an orphan, like.
all right, then. Very good.
But
Family she married into.
yes,
The mob needed a lot of car mechanic repairs done.
They really did. They kept
Cars.
shooting
But
these
turns
cars.
out.
the fact that her husband was at the massacre implies that he was probably getting a lot of business from one side or the other.
Yeah, there's enough cash that you're pretty sure you're gonna be able to get some money, so you can pay this bribe and like not panic entirely.
I think let's do that. Let's go on the basis that Hattie's good for it, and
Yeah.
and give up all of our worldly possessions for this dog.
You
That'd be a bloody good dog.
okay.
All dogs are good dogs, fine.
All dogs are good dogs, but
Is
this
he? Is he a good boy? A good boy?
I mean, you've been a cop.
So you put all your money into this, and after Oshikarsky takes you through to one of the back areas where, they don't want to. They've had to pull in quite a few people this morning, so they've kind of basically put Highball into like a back office sort of little area, failing a cell, and he's just sort of sat down and been sniffing around at stuff. They're pretty happy to get him out of the station, all things considered. And before long, you find yourselves standing on the street outside with Patty's dog. Last person I asked for some backstory stuff is Jackson, I believe. So Alex, the scenario describes Highball as a German Shepherd. But I would like you to overshadow that and throw your own dogific into this. What kind of dog is Highball?
Oh gosh, I think
Highball-
Highball is the dorkiest husky alive. Just like a full then huskies do like they're just dorky. They're just
Yep.
dorky, big dorky animals.
I like it.
Way
Yep.
too smart, and just like mildly broken.
Are huskies the one that get heterochromia a lot, or am I
Yeah.
getting mixed up?
Yeah, a blue
Very
and a brown.
cool.
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
I think husky.
All right, so
I think big dopey.
Yeah,
Smart,
seems
unhinged.
seems friendly enough. Comes out. You've probably met this dog before. It's been around for a while. It's quite happy to see somebody it knows. It does have slightly haunted eyes. You know, it has witnessed one of its owners being killed, presumably. In the spirit of this multi-headed dragon sort of thing, in the spirit of the many kind of aspects of control, you can feel free to have some light control on Highball now as well. The dog is ready to accompany you and is pretty happy to head along. There's also something unusual about it, just as you get it. Its collar, which is a pretty standard thing with kind of the information and everything that you need, but at the very front of the collar, there is what you would describe as an unk or something, like a large silver and actual silver, if you had to guess, occult symbol of some kind, like looks Egyptian maybe. Pretty out of place and not something that you would associate necessarily with either Hattie or her husband. But beyond that, the dog doesn't start talking to you or anything like that. What's next?
I think we get the dog out of the cop shop.
Yeah. Take him outside. You're out on the street watching
a
blinds.
close grab on the collar there, because I imagine as soon as we go past someone in a police uniform, this dog is like, I'll bite another one, I'll do it again.
I think that's kind of
This is the dog belonging to somebody who was obviously an occasional mechanic for the mob.
Yeah.
Probably trained to not like anybody wearing a police uniform.
I hear that. That's fantastic. So yeah, and I can, as I said, you can kind of direct the personality of Highball a little bit. So yeah, you have to kind of wrestle her away from her. You have to wrestle her away from kind of the street a little bit. You get up to the end and turn down to get away from the police station. Are you heading back to your office, or do you want to head straight across town to go to Hattie's?
We left Hattie.
Where
at
is
our
Hattie?
place, right?
Is Hattie?
Hattie
we
went
have said
home.
that
Hattie went
us-
home.
Hattie went home.
Yeah, she went home while you went to the police station.
Well, yeah.
Oh dear. Yes, straight to Hattie's to
Hattie's,
get her
yeah.
money back.
Okay.
And to not be a dog owner. I mean, dogs are great, but our apartment is not really set up for a large, excitable working dog.
You're a dog
Appreciator.
Appreciator, not a.
Look, we might be more into a kind of like greyhound situation, like a dog that lies down a lot.
I was slightly worried, Alex, that you would decide, like, I don't know, a French bulldog or something as the alternative option, which would have been fine.
Chihuahua.
But yeah,
Pocket dog.
might have to alter a couple of stats.
That would have been fairly funny. Just be like, this is the angriest Chihuahua on planet Earth.
Yeah,
That would have been quite good.
So you head back towards. You head over to Hattie's apartment, rather. It's across town in a little bit of a nicer area, kind of new money area. We started to establish a little bit of maybe the connections that Hattie's husband might have had to the mob, and a bit of money and stuff like that. You head through into the apartment building. The dog seems pretty happy to be back, but it's not sprinting around or doing anything like that. It is behaving slightly oddly. Could you make a psychology check?
On a dog?
On a dog, that's right. Dog ecology.
Okay, this is absurd. Why is
we're
the
good
only
at
thing we've
this.
succeeded so far is read dog?
Read dog.
Understand pupper.
You have a special connection. The dog seems quite alert and still quite tense. There's what you mentioned, Alex, where it's barking a little bit, but there's also just this like it's really kind of as if it's hearing something all the time. It keeps kind of like angling up and being just sort of generally tense. It's also pawing at this collar necklace thing that has a lot.
That was my main suspicion here. Should we go ahead and take that off?
Yeah, I think so. Like,
Okay.
weird thing to have on a dog.
We've probably met this dog before, and she
Yeah.
wasn't wearing this thing before, and it doesn't match with anything we've seen in Hattie's.
No,
and-
it's been looped on. It's her collar, but
But it's like been
this unk
added.
has been added recently. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, huskies are particular animals. We'll take that one off.
All right. Just slip it into
Pocket
a
it.
pocket. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. The dog does seem to calm a little after that. But
Yeah.
you get
Yeah,
upstairs towards the apartment, and the dog heads straight in, which lets you know that the door was ajar. As it just nudges it open and walks straight in.
Yeah, Hattie's not with it at the moment, you know, just the grief of it all. Obviously forgot to lock the door, which is a silly thing to do in Chicago.
It's not
Today,
safe
of all
around
days,
here
but-
in general. Yeah.
Honest.
Well, optimistic thought, but you get up and even at the thought of disaster, Thaddeus strikes me as the kind of person who stands and knocks at the ajar door.
Yeah, it's that high charm.
Yeah,
You know,
oh.
high charm and psychology. We're going to be polite.
And confidence. If you just knock
confidence.
confidently enough, nothing bad can happen to you.
Okay. Well, nothing happens at all here. The door remains ajar. There is no answer from inside.
Well, heck. I was just looking for the character creation rules about guns and equipment, starting equipment. But I can assume that we have a gun,
You
guys.
absolutely can assume that you have a gun. Yes.
Excellent. Let us draw it
Okay.
in advance.
You whip out a pistol. And you one decision, Jackson. Do you reckon, without going too much into individual gun stats, with automatic or revolver, newfangled technology or nice classic? From your
We have the
perspective.
classics. We have the classics, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So
Also,
you got it.
orphan. We're probably not buying the latest and greatest.
Yeah, this is like third hand.
Fair enough.
A third hand revolver that
Yeah.
has served faithfully everyone so far.
Okay. You take out your gun and take a couple of steps in and have a look around. Nothing's trashed, right? The house, the apartment seems pretty normal. You take a glance around. It does seem like it was just left. There's a desk in the corner, and you can see papers spilled out all around it. A lot of legal documentation, some pretty important stuff that's just kind of lying there haphazardly. And then you
Someone's
notice,
been going through it.
well, it could have maybe been because had he needed to go through in the wake of the death, you know, they could have been standard administrative practice. But you also notice a purse, the same one that she was wearing this morning, and it is lying on its side next to the writing desk. The contents are spilled out a bit, and what appears to be a giant silver dagger with like ornate carvings and like a gem inlaid in the handle is just half kind of hanging out. This is a proper weapon, and it is a proper like occult stabby dagger weapon.
Blood
Okay.
or clean?
You walk over to it and bend down, open up the bag a little bit. It appears to be completely clean. It's actually sheathed, but it's a dagger. Yeah.
Weird.
Apart from that, everything seems relatively normal.
Yeah. Well.
Over to the hive mind. Thaddeus is standing in the middle of the
What's
room.
Highball doing? What's
Yeah.
what's she
Highball
doing? Sniffing out her Hattie?
Sniffs around a little bit, searches, and then eventually comes and kind of sits down near you and does that kind of husky thing they do where they kind of just wail.
Yeah.
So
Having
just,
a whinge.
yeah, exactly.
A bit of a whinge. I should have picked like a bloodhound or something.
That would have been useful.
Sorry.
It's really over to the two of you here. You can
Don't mind me,
search
just
the
looking at-
place. You can
Just looking at the cheapest revolver we can get. Adding that in before we need it.
It can be an inherited property. That's totally fine. You could have gotten it from Tchaikovsky or from one of your other contacts. If you need the name of your media or criminal contact, just let me know.
Right. You know, we could have acquired it during an investigation and simply not handed it into the police.
That's also a good point. Yeah.
Because this is the point in time where like forensic ballistics is just becoming a thing. So we would have acquired it at a point where it's like it doesn't really matter if it's a stolen gun used in a crime.
Yeah.
Like there is no way for people to know this.
Yeah. So what's the plan? You want to search? You want to try and get
Yeah,
the dog?
I think have a look
Yeah.
around the apartment in depth. Like, okay, so we found this dagger and stuff, but like, is there an address book? Like, is there a date book, a plan, or maybe she had something that she needed to do? Is there, her husband died yesterday, funeral parlor, local funeral parlor. Like, I assume she's got shit to do if she's, planning a funeral. Who's her lawyer? I assume there'll be a lawyer involved for estate stuff. Maybe she had an appointment and had to go see them. So finding, having a look around for, I guess, the name and address of who their estate lawyer would have been,
sure.
or family. I know she didn't have family in the area. Any an address book, I guess, is the thing that I'd want to find. We'd want to find the most, just to see if there is anywhere logical that she would have gone.
Yeah, 100%. So leading back on a couple of familiar structures then, just because we can sort of pseudo do this in the same way that we might give every character a role to make. I'll give you both a role to make, both as Thaddeus, but describing different angles. So if one of you wants to take the spot hidden approach, another one could take the accounting approach or something like that, which is what I hear. Also feel free to act as Highball if Highball wants to try and pick up a scent of anybody else. Alex, you seem to, do you want to, was accounting what you were suggesting here, or a library use to just go through every paper?
Maybe more like of a spot hidden.
Spot hidden? Okay.
Yeah, maybe no. Yeah, library use, or I am happy to be dog and sniff out if there is anything belonging to somebody else here.
Totally fine. Given that, Jason, do you have a direction?
I like the diary. Let's find the diary. Assuming she's keeping a diary or
like
anything,
date,
or
like
if it'd
date
be
book
in
planner.
Yeah, like an appointment book. Yeah, like what you doing. How long ago was the massacre? It was
Yesterday.
like yesterday. Yeah. She may not have been writing in it recently, but let's push our luck.
Okay. So, all right then. Well, it sounds like I might get a library use. Well, both from Thaddeus, a library use and a spot hidden sound like the two that are coming out here. Spot hidden, searching specifically for a diary.
Well, I mean, library use maybe, and then if I can do dog thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Chocolate cinnamon.
That sounds good. Well, I think we'll factor that into the spot hidden. So why don't you do a bonus die on the spot hidden?
I think it's maybe a lot. Yeah, okay. Yeah, go. Spot hidden.
Spot hidden. Take a bonus die on that though. First fail.
Never
Second
mind.
fail as well.
Highball is sniffing around and gets very, very distracted by a piece of cheese that was dropped the other day. Finds a piece of cheese and is just like, "It's the best day ever."
It was a commiseration cheese after the death. And then we want a library use.
I'm also just thinking, just realizing, anything about this Unk might pique my interest as well. Because the fact that Highball wasn't used to it, as Hattie or husband whose name I've already forgotten.
Name was
did
never
they
given.
get
Last
into
name,
Egypt?
Yeah, last name May, but I'll get the first name for you to confirm. But yes.
Did they get into Egyptology recently?
Not
anything to indicate that?
Not as far as you know, but there's you didn't have a complete understanding of all their interests. John May.
Oh, but what I mean, I'm looking as part of the library use,
I
looking for
see.
indications that they've gotten into Egyptology recently.
Completely understood. All right. So first of all, spot hidden. Looking through the entire house, you find nothing. You really don't know what you should be looking for. And as far as, apart from the dagger, which looks, in terms it's made of silver, it looks vaguely Egyptian. It looks quite similar to the Ankh. So those two things appear to be connected. But apart from
Do we pick up the dagger? I think we should probably pick up the dagger.
I think we should pick up the dagger. We need to take the dagger.
Pick up the dagger and slide it into your pocket. Yeah, absolutely. It's heavy. It's a little weird to be carrying around, but I mean, you've also got a gun in there, so it's all fine.
Would you describe it as a knife large, knife medium, or knife small?
I think this would be a knife medium.
Size of a carving knife?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Excellent.
that makes sense.
I think.
No reason. Just asking.
Yeah, no reason.
As I'm looking at the equipment table.
So apart from that, nothing out of the ordinary. when you go through the books, you are, after a pretty cursory sweep, able to determine that they have not suddenly developed an interest in the occult or anything like that. There are no, secret stashes of books or anything like that. It's all pretty standard stuff, and going through all of the papers and the various affairs, it all seems pretty boring. But you did mention something. You mentioned a diary, and that's something that it's good to look out for, and there actually is one. I think it was your idea to look for a diary, Jackson, or Alex? Was that your? Because I'll
I think
get
it was
you.
Alex's idea, and then I stole it.
Brilliant. All right, so Alex, I'll ask you for a little flashback information then. At the orphanage, when you were you and Hattie and your kind of friends in general were trying to hide stuff. You had a little bit of a code, a trick, something that you would know about where to stash things, so that you could hide it from the staff. The diary is kept there because it's quite personal, but you think to check in that spot because you're specifically looking for a diary. Where is it? What is that spot, and what's the story behind it?
Okay, so I think it's to do with the address of a really like a cool place in Chicago. So like, I'm trying to think. It's been a very long time since I've been to Chicago. So,
Deep dish pizza.
Yeah. There's got to be at least
all I
one,
know.
right?
yeah, there's like maybe the favorite pizza joint of the or like the favorite diner of the kids.
Yeah.
So like, which is like 32 whatever street. So it's under the floorboards, 3 up, 2 across.
Yep. Okay, fantastic.
And so it's like whatever room we got moved into around the orphanage, it was always floorboard, 3 up, 2 across.
3 up,
Aw.
2 across. You feel the creak underfoot, and you know it's there just as soon as you walk across. Checking in, you do find Hattie's diary, and it seems to be pretty comprehensively kept. And you start flicking through it. Now, first of all, you do the classic flip to the last page first, and there's no they're coming into the room or something like that.
Yeah.
And just as you suspected, Jackson, there's a date put in for yesterday evening, and you can see like 3 attempts to start to write something and then just given up. There's no. What can you say at that point? But as you start to flick back through a little bit, you notice something kind of odd. First of all, a name pops into your a name pops up a few times, and that's a name, Lucille Moran. Can I get an education roll from you as you lean into your detective background?
You can get an Alex Loves True Crime roll. I know Moran. I know what that name is.
Oh yeah, very good.
Are you doing this? Am I doing this?
You do that.
I'm doing it. Huh. Oh, hard success.
Okay.
Nice.
Lucille Moran is the second, some would report third, wife of one of the mob leaders in Chicago. As a fairly senior member of the criminal underworld, and there is a lot of conversation about them meeting up and hanging out. Apparently, Hattie had sort of found herself drawn into a little bit of the wives' club of the mafia to a certain extent, and she talks about it a little bit, and she says, most interestingly, they seem to be kind of into psychics and getting psychic readings and stuff like that. This is sort of a newer thing that a few of them had been into. And she ultimately got sort of like pressured into coming, and she went, and she said she had an awful time, and she got like a really, really big headache afterwards, and she just kind of was like, I'm not doing this anymore. But she writes in her diary that after she had been to see the mystic in question, a woman named Mystic Maraid, suddenly Lucille Moran had been a bit like much closer to her and much a little worried about her, and had insisted that she take what she described as good luck charms, and had given her a silver ankh and a dagger, and said that they would be useful to protect her, and they were blessed, and that they were hand-me-downs, and that they're very, very important. You must carry them always. And she was kind of like, I don't think this is right. She hooked the ankh to Highball's collar, because it was kind of, she didn't really know what to do with it. And she said that she put the dagger away. Didn't say that she was carrying it on a purse, but yeah. Then again, it is just a weapon. Like, it's probably the biggest weapon in the house at this point. So yeah.
So where did we find it? In the purse?
It was in her purse, as if it had just sort of like spilt out, kind of thing.
But she's left the house without it.
Yeah, presumably. Well, she's also left without her purse, which is not a great sign.
Just not thinking about that bit, because today's gotten a lot more complicated than we really needed it to.
Well, heck, we knock on the neighbor's door.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And see if they
saw
heard anything or saw her.
Sure. Make a general charm roll as you canvass the neighbors. All right, you step out, you take a couple of knocks around at other doors. You are able to confirm that nobody has seen anything particularly out of the ordinary. No odd suspects had come and was sort of like banging at the door. No one was behaving extraordinarily oddly, but no one was watching closely enough to ascertain that she didn't have a visitor or that she left in a certain state and everything. That's to say, with a regular
did anyone
success.
See her come back today? You think
yes,
she came back today? I think she came back today, but
she definitely
didn't.
Came in between your chat with her. She came home, and then has gone out again, or she's at least missing. The door is left ajar.
Yeah, she probably didn't go see a lawyer without a purse.
No indication of an altercation, though.
No
struggle or anything.
No indication of anything like that.
Let's go see this psychic.
Okay.
I'm wondering if Highball can pick up a scent if it's still fresh.
Yeah.
How
you have?
We've got pretty good track as well.
We've got pretty good track.
We can go track roll with a bonus die with a dog.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and see if we can. I mean, not a bloodhound, but dog is dog.
Dog is dog. You also have a huge, you have access to her house at this point, and just for your convenience. You know where the spare key is. It's next to the diary, kind of thing. Like you are close enough. You are close enough to Hattie that you're sort of in her confidences, so you can get in and out of the house if you need to again later. You have all her clothes and things like that, so you would be able to provide scent.
Just grab like a scarf of hers or something and take it with us.
Perfect.
And see if Highball can pick up her scent. And if not, like I think keeping the address, can take a copy of the address of the psychic and.
So,
I really don't want to go see the Morans. I really don't want anything to do with the Morans, but that as well.
See, the problem is that in the diary, Hattie explains that they took Lucille's car when they went to the psychic. So she actually doesn't have an address. You could try and track down who Mystic Murray is using your own resources. Maybe is this the kind of thing that you can be in a phone book for? Or you could just ask Lucille Moran if you can get a hold of her.
Yeah, but like her husband was the intended target of the Valentine's Day massacre. Just putting that one out there.
Unfortunately, yeah, and his build was just too similar to someone who
one
was
of his own men
in the garage, and they opened fire early.
Yeah, so the intended target, or widely assumed intended, because nobody really. There are theories, but the widely assumed intended target is this lady's husband who survived, and so presumably is still the target of something and somebody. Which is always like, Moran, great, cool, awesome, don't want to get involved, but will, if have to. It is bad form to go talk to a mobster's wife also.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a real quick way to get just shot.
You are hypothetically approaching from the perspective of being concerned about Hattie, and they were friends. Like they're pals. But yeah, it's it's a pretty tense time. And additionally, Hattie might be like, sorry, not Hattie.
Lucille.
Lucille might have gone to ground, for want of a better word, with like, it's the day after a hit on her husband is taken out.
It's not going to be easy to find her.
But you've got the scarf, and let's get a track roll to get that sort of like rough direction kind of thing.
Here it comes. Nice.
Nice.
Okay.
Do we want a
Die
bonus
anyway?
die in case we,
Don't need it.
She left on foot. She heads down and she starts walking. You get to the end of the street and to the idea that she is going into the city proper, to a different part of town, before you lose, with a regular success, you lose the trail in the hubbub of the city. You cannot follow it the entire way. Now, if you could get to a final destination, or like you could probably confirm whether somewhere was on the path or whether she went back here, but you cannot, in reasonable time, follow this trail the entire way through the city.
Hmm.
If we look around, is there anything of interest here? Is there shops looking out onto the street? We might be able to ask somebody if they saw her with somebody.
You can roll. I'm happy for you to roll back that into the general charm check that you made earlier. You canvass the area, and on a regular basis, the information you can get from sort of general folks is you might be able to find someone who, I think I saw a lady passing by. She seemed fine. Walking along. But you're not able to get much.
Well, that's still useful. Like, maybe it's not.
She didn't
Do we
appear
get the impression
distressed.
she was on her own?
No one has enough detail to be able to confirm that for you. You could push this and start to try. I really need to think hard. Was there anyone with
Or spend some luck?
Or
Was
spend
that
some
charm roll
luck.
was
Spend some
7
luck?
points off a hard.
7 points
Yeah.
of
Is the hard going to help?
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
All
yeah,
right,
let's
great.
do that. I
Let's
think we
do
spend
that.
that luck.
7 points brings us down to 38 luck, and that was we are hard charming.
You know what? Yeah, I did see her. I think she passes by somebody to get a bite to eat, and I think she was walking with somebody, a woman, real kind of odd dressed up, really green eyes. They were just sort of strolling together. She was walking a few feet behind. I don't know. There you go. Green eyes. We've lost you for a second, Jackson.
Sorry, oddly dressed woman with green eyes. I was saying to myself
just
as I wrote my notes.
eccentrically dressed woman with with
Okay.
bright green eyes.
That sounds like this psychic that
Sound
we've
like a
heard so much
psychic.
about.
Quite possibly. What it doesn't sound like, just to be clear, is Lucille, who is of Turkish descent.
Yeah.
Okay. We got to look up this psychic. We got this psychic's address, right?
No,
No.
you don't. No,
We did not,
unfortunately,
because they took Lucille's car.
Yeah.
Who are the other wives in this group? I mean, Moran, maybe we don't go right to the top to begin with. Maybe we don't go and try. I think she'll be really tough to find. Do we know of anybody else in this group who might be a little bit easier to contact?
Or
I mean, most of them are dead now, unfortunately.
are psychics putting themselves in the yellow pages?
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe we look in the classifieds.
So I'm happy for both of these angles. Again, we'll do this as if you're sort of the multiple spirits
Yeah,
of
all the thoughts. You're
focuses.
standing around. You're like, oh, we could go talk to somebody,
Yeah.
but like today's maybe not the day.
So- But we'll sort of
But hey, classifieds, ads, yeah.
trying in both these directions. What I think we'll go. So I will get a library use check, and that is going to represent you going through the classifieds and trying to track down this person and see if you can find any mentions of Mairead. Now,
I think the phone book.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's how you
Yeah,
get, that's how you get your name out
I
there.
think Jackson's idea is the one.
I-
I think.
I do believe that at this point, I mean, I might be
I'm
wrong
on
here, and feel free to correct me. There are actually competing like institutions of phone books and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
Right.
you would have to do a little bit of like searching a bunch of different spots, and then like a psychic is the kind of thing that like you might also have to look in different networks for. And then additionally, do you know anyone else in that space? I'll get Alex then. Could you make a I think this is going to. You know what? This is going to come down to luck. I think. I'm sorry to say it. And it's going to be pretty tough.
That's okay. Yeah, because I think it makes sense that like we might know somebody who's occasionally helped the police. Police will sometimes use psychics. Like that's a They shouldn't, but they do. So maybe there's somebody in that kind of detective-y law
Oh,
enforcement network.
that's a different. I was thinking, do you know any like are there any other folks in the Wives network that you might
Oh
have known
yeah,
that you've been able
no,
to
I
go
think
to?
I think if we are not already embedded in the mob, which it sounds like we're not, I think
Well,
the reason for that is that we're trying
you
really hard not to be.
you have one contact. As a guy called Billy Littlecombe Brock. And you helped him out a few times in the context of your work. So I'll get you to make that luck roll the same, Alex. But let's do that one first before the library is check. Okay. Yeah, you know Billy. He thought that they are really cool. The mob. He really wanted to be part of it, and he went in wholeheartedly and ended up way over his head. And you pulled him out of the fire in some way, and he owes you one. What do you think the story behind that was?
Um, well, I mean, it's got to be bootlegging,
Yeah,
these years.
right.
I think he was a real shitty bathtub gin guy. Um, and sold a couple of things, figured out how to make it, was selling it a little bit, and was trying to like talk up his operation, but unfortunately his gin was just bad.
Hmm.
So as the mob got more and more involved in him wanting to be in the mob and that sort of thing, unfortunately, they were just starting to get a little bit shitty with him, trying to like spruik his shitty
Yeah.
gin every single time, like every week, being like, "Oh, I've got a new recipe," and they'd be like, "Go away. We're importing like actual Irish whiskey from Canada, so like, go away."
Yeah. And you had to sort of like
I think what
basically
I think what we did is redirect him to a space where he could, his talents would be more appreciated, and he was no longer annoying the mob.
I think you explained that you wanted to be a lawyer, and I want to be a chemist, and now
Yeah,
he's on that pathway, but still has connections. So
yeah.
you know someone with mob ties. This is the kind of person that if you did decide to get in contact with Lucille, that you might be able to sort of like smooth that over for you. But
We got him into cosmetics, so now
oh,
he's friends with all the wives.
that's brilliant. As for psychics on the look, no one that you could no threads that you could pull on in a reasonable time frame with that level of success. And Jackson, can I get that library use check?
You surely can. But oh, it's
Unfortunately,
worth locking it. Maybe not.
you
We're making a lot of luck rolls, so let's hang on to some of that for a minute.
you'll probably get more information if you luck it, but to set the scene at a failure, you get the feeling that any psychic who puts themselves in the phone book is kind of committing career suicide, if you know what I mean. So
Right.
this
They got to
psychic
add the
is
mystique.
is super real. They're hardcore. So that's
Makes
how
sense.
it is, you know.
In invitation only.
With that in mind, what's the next plan?
I guess we go talk to our pal. We're gonna talk to Billy.
Littlecombe Brock or
Brock.
Billy Littlecombe?
Brock.
Littlecombe
Brock.
Billy?
Billy.
Yeah.
Billy.
Jackson, we know there's a bit about this character now. Where does Billy live now?
I don't know anything about Chicago. Like my instinctive joke answer was under a bridge. But that would be too silly.
I mean,
there's a lot of
actually, yeah,
bridges in
because Chicago has all those train bridges, so maybe it was under a train, like in a.
That's all I got. Well,
Yeah.
Littlecombe, maybe like he ended up following his dream to become a barber, so he lives above a barber shop.
No. Well, it's close enough to cosmetics. Yeah, exactly. So he's living above a barber shop. You know where to visit him. You head over to the other side of Chicago. It takes you a while, and Hybel follows you the whole way. As you're walking, you start to feel a bit maybe peculiar. Can I get a power check?
Oh heck!
We built this character in a particular way for a one shot.
Shall I?
Do it.
I shall.
We shall.
Okay. All right.
Somehow.
So it takes you a while to notice, and you're really just around the corner from the barbershop when it happens, but you realize that you're feeling pretty good. You're feeling lithe, you are feeling light, you're feeling energized. You've been crashing on the couch. You've had like a back thing for a while, kind of hampering you
Who
a
among
bit.
us?
It's loosened up. You're feeling good. You are feeling so good, in fact, that I'll get it's an auxiliary roll. So, Alec, can you roll a d10 for me?
Sure.
Well, you can just add 8 points of luck.
Excuse me?
You're feeling really pretty okay
I'm sure
right now.
there will be no consequences to having this unk with us, and it's nothing to do with that at
Who
all.
said it was
and there will be
anything to do
no
with the unk?
elastic bands snapping back to take us out.
Mystic Maraid said she gave Hattie the Unk and Duggar saying that they were good luck charms. And now we're feeling
yeah, well.
lucky.
Mystic Maraid did not give the unk to
Oh.
Hattie.
Gave her the
After
knife.
no, neither.
No?
After going to see Mystic Maraid, Hattie said, "I had a headache. I didn't like it." After seeing Mystic Maraid, Lucille got really close with Hattie and said, "You need to take this." Lucille gave the unk and the dagger to Hattie. That's the connection.
Okay.
So there you go. You arrive at the barbershop and are invited in on good terms. You're offered like 3 different drinks. You're pretty sure that Lil Comb hasn't entirely managed to shake off the bug for bootlegging. But yeah, he's pretty happy to help you out. What are you after from him? Is it just an introduction?
Shaving a haircut.
He can sort that out. Feeling fresh to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's how the chat happens.
Pretty hot though.
It's,
So.
it's during the during the shave and the haircut. What comes out?
But what have you heard about this Mystic Maraid? Did I get that right? How do you spell that?
Yeah, it is spelled M-A with a acute accent, I-R-E acute accent A-D.
It's a real mystic name. Yeah, I guess we want to know. I mean, all the ladies come here to get their hair done, I guess, as well. So
Great point.
you know, Hattie, well, we've got Hattie's dog, and
Sure.
we're looking for Hattie. Do you know who she might be friends with, like hanging out with at the moment?
Sure.
And where we can find them.
Sure, this is all in the context of a charm roll, I think, and you can take a bonus die considering that you previously established that you were on good terms with Little Comb. And it's
And
so
we've
funny
got
that Little
dog.
Comb is now doing barbershop stuff. Okay, no, that'll be that
Good.
with the bonus
41
die.
success.
Okay. So Little Comb's heard conversations. He does not have an address for Maraid, unfortunately, but everyone has spoken about her, and he can confirm that they were all really, really fond of her, like of her like predictions. They were having a lot of fun. It was really like a lot of the sort of wives club were getting into the occult. Then a couple of weeks ago, and it seems to have been directly like tied to the time that Hattie went, they all soured on Maraid, and they all reduced how often they were going. And at that point, like they all sort of pulled back a little bit. You are pretty sure though that Lucille was good friends with Hattie, and if you come in with that context, she is probably going to be willing to just give you Maraid's address. In fact, I can organize a call for you if that's needed.
Yeah. If you got a way in, let's do that.
Oh, okay. I'll you owe me one for this, but okay. Heads upstairs, and he's got a phone that he has access to, and after a little while places a couple of different calls, and you find yourself put through on a line, and a deep voiced woman answers on the other side. She's got a little bit of smoker's husk to her voice, but a very sort of like powerful presence in it. Speaks with just the slightest accent, as she says, "You need to speak to me about Hattie?" Right. She's concerned and she's pretty happy to talk. She immediately starts saying, "Is she okay?" She knows that her husband is dead. She hasn't heard from her in a while. How direct are you playing this?
Correct, I think. I think because her husband's just died, I think we can get away with saying, like, look, yeah, she's not herself. We're wondering if she's maybe, I'm wondering if she's just maybe,
Uh,
in her desperation, gone to the psychic, maybe.
yeah.
I don't think she will have. They didn't get along. No, they had a bad session together, and we haven't really been back since. I told her she should stay away from from Mystic Marae. She says with derision. From now on.
Just in case, can you give us an idea of what Mystic Marae looks like?
Sure. She's a very old woman, and she immediately describes somebody whose description does not match well enough what the person was described following Hattie, but it's close.
We don't hear the bright green eyes.
You get eccentrically dressed, but then you get old woman, and then you get eccentrically dressed young woman with green eyes. Is the two intersections of these descriptions that are not particularly matching.
They are clearly two different people and not capable of magically age shifting.
There's
life
enough.
From someone
I still feel really good, don't I? I feel really good.
You are feeling great. Listen, there is enough similarity in the descriptions that you are hearing that this clicks to your head. This is something that you can metagame a little on. No, there's some links here, but apart from that, nothing. But I told her not to go back. Not a good sort.
Well, she's not herself at the moment, so maybe she's feeling it was the psychic's fault, or just she's not herself. She's extremely, extremely upset. Do you have the address of this woman?
I'll give you the address, sure. And she hands it over, and it says, "But listen, it wouldn't have been the psychic's fault.
No, of course not.
Hattie's protected against curses and things like that. I provided her with a charm handed down through my family that will have kept her safe."
Good.
Good. Are we gonna?
You can press here on that.
Yeah, because we've got the charm now.
But you do hear the heavy silence on the other end of the line, as you do remember that you probably don't want to offend a mobster's wife.
Nope.
Regardless, can we get the address?
That's provided. You were given an address. It's an apartment. Walking distance from Hattie's.
Should we leave our contact details? Like leave our number? Just say, call us if you hear from Hattie.
I'll get in contact.
Or is that like too close? Now are we indebted to the mob if we ask for that?
I'll send word
I'm
to
treating the
Little
mob. I'm treating the mob like the Fae here. That's the impression. You got to be super careful about what you owe to them.
We called from our office, right? From our office.
So Little Comb.
Okay, so it's
and it's very much like this is a number that you're not given. This was a call, and it's probably like
okay.
They can send word to Little Comb to get in contact with you.
Yeah, and we introduced ourselves, so they know who we are.
They've got ways of finding us.
They know our name and what we do.
You're also a private detective. You have if it is a bit the Fae, but you are like. You've dealt with the Fae before. You've got your walls up. Yeah.
I mean, everybody in Chicago has.
Yeah.
So I guess they know who we are and they can contact Billy if they really want to say hi.
That's fine, and they're happy to get in contact if they hear from Hattie. Are you happy to leave the conversation there? You don't want to press any more on the. I mean, we don't want to.
I feel like we should probably not tell her that Hattie doesn't have the amulet, that we in fact have the protection charm.
Yep,
I feel like maybe what do you reckon, Jackson? Do we keep that to ourselves?
Yeah, I don't think we need to give out more information necessary. That's fine.
In which case, she confidently says that Hattie's protected. You bid farewells, and as the call ends, and you're you go back down, wash the last of the shampoo out of your hair, and Little Comb will send you on your way. You have an address now. It's getting towards evening too. You now know, where this mystic Maraid supposedly is, and you're still feeling
Good.
great.
Hungry though, I guess.
Say
Let's
that
go
a
do
few more
that.
times, Jim, and I
Just-
might feel better about it.
You are feeling
Right now, I'm unsettled.
wonderful.
Really? Because every time he says it, I feel worse.
So what's the plan? You want to just head straight there?
Yeah.
Let's.
Yeah. I'm feeling
Okay.
good. I've got energy, you know?
All right.
Feeling real good.
As you're walking over, I'm going to ask you to now make an intelligence check, and this is something that This is to trigger a flashback, basically, as you remember something from your childhood. Now, this is something that I would have typically given you in the form of a handout at the start if this was one-on-one kind of thing, but I actually thought it was more interesting to do it this way, given how we're playing the scenario. Oh my god! I was about to say we'll start off with an extreme success, and like you have to get an extreme, and then it will be a hard the next time you do it, and then it will be a regular. But you've triggered it right away.
Well, I rolled too early. I'm sorry. Jim.
No,
I just
no,
have to do
that's-
with rolling. So we can't count that.
I think it's fine to count. I think we'll pay it. I think let's go with it. As you're walking forward, you're going through that description again and again in your head, and that one detail that keeps sticking out to you is green eyes, and suddenly in the back of your mind, a little thought jumps into your head, and you remember someone else at the orphanage, someone else with green eyes. Jackson, you made that roll, so we'll start with you. Can you describe another member of your friendship group, little bit younger than you or Hattie, but a woman with green eyes and a really good memory you have of the three of you together?
Of course, that was, and you're picking the one person who's terrible with names. Emmy, McGruber.
McGruber. Let's go
Nailed
with
it.
let's go with O'Sullivan, because the suggested name is Ellen O'Sullivan. And you got with
my.
Emmy. It's quite close. You
I got pretty close.
Yeah. Emmy.
All right,
Emmy is great.
Emmy O'Sullivan. That
Yeah.
rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
Better than McGruber.
Emmy O'Sullivan. What's a really good memory that the three of you share?
We found a copy of like Snakes and Ladders, discarded in the street, and we put it together, and we just like the board, and we hand carved little wooden dice, and we would spend hours. We were the Snakes and Ladders group. We would just spend hours rolling those dice around, and
Yeah. No.
that's the nicest memory I can. We were a bunch of nerds in a board game club.
Hell yeah.
That's yeah.
I just told myself there.
Board game club nerds. No, I love it. That's fantastic. Really just sweet childhood stuff. And then Alex, to add some bitterness to the mix, Emmy fell in love with you, and it was not reciprocated, and it broke down the group. And I want you to remember one really bad memory, which was sort of the last positive. Like, since then you have had you haven't had a good relationship with Emmy, and she was adopted soon after, so you haven't seen her in a long time.
I think it was like the day before Emmy's adoption, or the morning of, which we knew was going to be happening. So we put together we were going to put together like a special, like a party, like a going away party for her. And I think Hattie had like saved up all of her like little allowance bits from doing odd jobs and cleaning, and she'd gone out and bought a new dress, and then when she was putting it on, getting ready for the party, the zip broke, and we were helping her like sew it back up so she could wear her nice dress for Emmy's party. And Emmy walked in and saw us like with Hattie half undressed and assumed we were together.
Right.
Because by that point, the rumors
so
had been going
spicy.
around.
That's
right? The rumors had already been going
perfect.
around that we were an item.
Yep.
But no, we've just always been really close friends. But she saw this and ran away crying, and we could not find her. And then that afternoon, she got adopted, and we never saw her again.
That is
so spicy.
That is perfect. I absolutely love it. And as green eyes jumps into your head, you suddenly get this image of like two piercing green eyes gazing at you from across a Snakes and Ladders board. Yeah, and you go, "There's no way. There's no way."
Plot thickens a little bit more.
So you're not too far from where you know Mystic Marade is, and at this point, suddenly you see Highball start to, as their nose twitches, they pick up the scent that you succeeded. I mentioned that you'll pick it up again if you get close. The scent retrieved, and you can see an apartment building. It's fairly high. There's one of the sort of taller towers with a huge water tower at the top. That is ahead. You know that theoretically, Mystic Marade should be on the top floor.
I'm going to say to Highball, this could go poorly. Let's go.
Perfect.
Do we want to try and take like a fire escape maybe and see if we can?
Oh, we don't ring the door.
I don't know. What do you reckon? Or do we just walk up? Are we just that confident? Are we that charming and confident that we're like straight down the line?
11:35. What's the quickest way to do this?
I'll let me just say,
break into the room.
You guys are tracking. Sometimes I've got an eye on the clock because timing is like you just got to be so careful. You were tracking perfectly. This is you are on schedule, on trajectory. Adjust nothing from your velocity.
What kind of? We didn't actually roll any like personality traits or anything. I think we were just going to come up with on the fly.
Yeah.
But yeah, do we want to?
Board game geek, Thaddeus Valentino,
super high
messy
intelligence.
apartment.
Super high intelligence. But also
not very strong.
But also charming.
Charming. I think he'd ring the doorbell. What do you think?
I think he'd ring the doorbell. I think we're going in the front door. Yeah, we're not sneaking this one.
Okay. You get across to so you go to the bottom floor of the apartment. There's a doorman who stops you and says, I'll check if she's in. If you're assuming you asked for Mairead. And he heads up to like a phone and calls up. It's a nicer apartment.
Smells?
No answer. Sorry, I don't think she's around. He kind of hesitates. He could let you up to sort of knock on the door to double check, but that would be the domain of a charm roll. Let's see if Thaddeus is actually that charming.
Yeah, because we sure as shit can't bribe him.
Yeah, you're out of cash. You couldn't pay for the haircut, so that's
a fluck. We just got 8 points of luck back.
Let's do it.
Reason. We got luck to spare.
It rolls off. The words roll off your tongue, and it almost feels like what you need to say just implants itself in your head suddenly. Jackson, do you want to describe what you say? What is it that convinces the guy?
Maybe it's like we got like something jingling in our pockets, and it's the silver unk.
Yeah.
But we just kind of like jingle a little bit to say, hey, you look after us, and we might become a regular, and then we might be prone to tipping. But somehow we're so charming that he realizes that we forgot to tip him this time.
It doesn't bother him.
But it's just that luck. It's just pure luck that the unk jingles in our pockets at just the right moment.
And as you're walking up the stairs right afterwards, when you reach into your pocket, you can feel it is warm to the touch at this point, more hotter than your body as you are walking up the stairs. I might ask you at this point, like, you get about halfway up the stairs, can you make a sanity check?
Oh, no.
Maybe?
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
Hard this time.
So you hold yourself together, you pick it up and you look at it. You can decide whether you want to go believer or non-believer with this, but you at this point could go, this is a magical unk. And as you're holding it, you realize you feel good with this in your pocket. You feel like empowered. This is a. So, what do you think? Believer, non-believer? Alex, I might throw to you for this one. How do you want to go with it?
I think non-believer. I don't know. That's a tough one.
20 minutes left.
I know.
For the one
you know
shot.
what?
You might want to. Yeah, up
80
to you.
80 intelligence. I think we're a non-believer.
Yep. You go, there's no way. And
no
you
way.
slip it back
We're
into your pocket.
educated. We're like, if
Yeah.
anything, we're educated to the point of it being a
Yep.
hindrance where
Yeah,
we think we know more than we do.
you disregard it and continue forward. You head up the stairs towards Mairead's apartment, and as you're you get up to the final floor, this sort of top area. There's a corridor along with a couple of doors, and up the end one that leads onto the roof. Suddenly, Highball hunches over, starts to growl. His eyes start kind of glazing over, and his nose really starts tracking one way than the other as he sniffs about, and then points towards the door at the end, which leads up to the roof. You realize it's slightly ajar, and you see every muscle in his body hunch. He is about to start barking and go.
Nope. Nope.
We got 50 points left.
You made a joke about putting some points in animal handling.
Dog. Can we do animal handling? Can we just dump some into animal handling?
Yeah. Now,
now?
I think the specific name of the skill, according to the Keeper's
Animal
rulebook.
Ken?
Yeah. You take it. I'm going to get my Keeper's rulebook to tell you what it is just out of curiosity. But yes, go right ahead. In fact, let's just keep rolling with that. 50 points through. And you can just
do all 50 points.
Yes.
You want to put 50? Yeah, I love it.
Whatever. Like we need, the dog is with us. We need the dog's help.
All right, here we go. No.
18 points off. I'll be clear with this. So if you fail this roll, he's going to start barking. He's going to go straight up onto the roof. That will. If anything is happening up there, that will immediately alert the situation. That is like we're proceeding into everyone knows what's happening. If you succeed, listens to you, and you can continue to plan. You could push the roll too. Pushing will, if you try to grab him and fail,
you get bit.
He alerts everyone, and also now he's not listening to you. He's effectively like neutral at best, hostile at worst to you.
It's a fun way to meet people. You just let your dog run out and go, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Normally not like this. Hi, I'm Thaddeus." You just let the dog go.
Sure.
Okay, perfect.
The other option, it's a fun way to meet people. The other option is dog goes on roof. Potentially, if there's a fire escape on the outside, we can close the door behind the dog and loop around to the fire escape while they're distracted by the dog. Or just follow the dog up.
Both of those are fine. So what I'm hearing is you don't want to push this. You're going to leave the failure.
Let the dice lie.
Let the dice lie. In which case,
it's gonna meet some people with our dog.
Highball lets out this ear-splitting series of rumbling barks and goes tearing forward, snarling. You hear
You're fast but not strong, so we're following as quickly as possible.
And do you want to double back to the fire escape like you mentioned? It's behind you. You can see the window,
just
or
following.
You're going to go straight out. Okay,
just following.
You follow it as quick as you can. You get around. Highball bursts up onto the roof, and if you're not trying to stealth, you will burst out right behind. Okay.
Seems like it.
Suddenly emerging, and you are looking across a open, large rooftop containing this huge water tower taking up most of it, and you see Hattie is tied up to a sort of like a pin sort of spike thing, which has been jammed into the top side of the water tower and is surrounded by all of these occult symbols spiraling around her.
Why?
Standing in front of her, now turning around, holding what looks like a ritual knife, not silver and nice as the one that you now have in your pocket, but a ritual dagger is a ritual dagger, is a essentially dressed woman. She's dyed her hair so she wouldn't look passingly as you remember. Her face has changed slightly, but she has bright green eyes, and immediately you recognize Emmy. Having been prepared for this, I think that will reduce the sanity damage you potentially take here as you spot, occult ritual set up. You have no idea what's going on, and the unk in your pocket starts burning,
Ow.
red hot.
Ow.
Uh,
We didn't put it in our back pocket, did we?
Coat pocket, I assumed, but yeah. All right. Let's So Sandy check here.
If you insist. Yeah, it's all good.
In which
We're
case,
so safe.
you had already
We're so
figured,
well balanced.
you already knew exactly that Emmy was going to be here, and therefore
kooky, but-
you're not surprised as we leap straight forward into dexterity order. We don't really care what Hattie's dexterity is. It's 55 for anyone who's curious, but she is going to stay there, tied up. That is the entire at this point. Highball has a dexterity of 70, which I assume is going to make him first. You have a dexterity of 60, which is pretty good.
Above average.
And with a dexterity of 50, Emmy is going to go last.
Fantastic.
So Highball goes first, and you didn't push the roll, so you still have some element of control. What the current aim of the dog is to go forward at top speed and to maul.
I love that.
Yeah. What you can kind of nudge that a little bit if you would like to, considering you have some control. Or are you happy with go forward and maul as a principle?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, Emmy was our childhood friend, all right, and we do feel pretty bad. Maybe if we can get Highball to just protect, just
get between the two of them.
Get between the two of them and just have a defensive, protective stance, and
Highball
maybe
runs over
like
to Hattie
go for the weapon if possible. Like if Emmy makes moves, like go for the arm of the weapon, not like kill this woman.
Yeah, okay.
But just like getting straight up to running straight up to Hattie and then turning around and growling is a great start.
Okay. I think that's like a protect command.
That sounds absolutely perfect. Highball skids straight around and gets between the two of them. There was very much the chance that Emmy could have lunged forward with the
that
knife.
Close.
Yeah, like close enough that could have gone on her turn. And attacked her. But you act quickly. Highball skids in front and is going to block that off. So he'll get a chance to sort of defend, but he's not going to make any other actions this turn. In the meantime, it is your shot. You can see Emmy shocked, glancing back and forth, deciding what she is going to do next. What's your turn? What's your move? You've arrived on the rooftop. Your gun in your pocket. You have the unk burning hot. What's the gun?
I think it's diffused, right? Charm.
Charm? I was going to pull the gun out and point and say,
No!
drop the knife.
She's a childhood friend.
She's got a knife. She's about to stab.
And we've got a gun, so I guess we can pull the gun out as like a threat more than anything else. But I think that we're charming, right? Maybe, I think there's been a misunderstanding here.
It's a 1920s version of Inside Out. You two are going to have to come to a decision here. It's
Well, we're doing the angel and devil thing.
Yeah.
Except in reverse. I'm saying shooter.
I leave you to decide.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
52. Got a good chance. But I'm just saying point it and say drop the gun.
Drop the knife. Yeah, we're not going to like.
But we got no intimidate.
No.
And she probably knows that.
Almost.
She knows Thaddeus well. She knows that.
But hasn't.
She probably knows that Thaddeus isn't going to pull the trigger.
Hasn't seen us in a really long time. Doesn't know we're actually pretty handy with a handgun. So. Yeah, I think if we're not shooting immediately yet. Maybe if we're not intimidating, but we're trying to just say, hey, look, I think this is all one big misunderstanding, but you need to drop the knife. Gun outranks knife.
Okay. We'll pull the gun, not point it, and just say, Emmy, can you tell us what's going on here? Come on, we can talk about this.
Chat.
Something's gone wrong here, Emmy. Can we try to sort this out? We just want to know what's going on. That's my charming voice. Come on, Emmy, stop. No, you can't do that. Charm.
Thaddeus Valentino could be the coolest cat ever in the Valentine's Day scenario, but we've made him a dorky board game geek.
It's not living up to the name, that's for sure.
All right. Make a charm check for me.
I would love to. Come on.
Oh,
That
that
dice roll does
is
not match the role playing.
that is fantastic. So she turns towards you. The dog is growling, and as she's standing there, she opens her hand and the knife drops immediately. And she says, "No, no, no, it's okay, Teddy. It's fine. You don't understand. I just and." She's going to. What I think here is I'll give you a psychology check.
Alrighty. See how that goes.
So you're convincing her of something. She seems tense. She then is going to immediately do something, and it's whether your insight into sort of getting her to open up makes her vulnerable enough for you to be able to pick up on some signals.
This seems like luck time, right?
Seems like luck time. This is luck time.
I think it's luck time. We got plenty to spare. 41 down to 31, spending 10 points of luck to know what's going on here.
Okay. As just before she does what she's about to do next, you can see her like the gears in her head moving. She's panicked. She's upset. This isn't going how she wanted it to. But she also seems not well. You immediately get vibes of someone who is you if you were a mythos investigator, you would say that this person is in a bout of madness, at least on some level. And just sort of as a general kind of detective, you can see they don't look particularly healthy. They don't look particularly good in themselves at this point. So what they do next might be partially on instinct, as their voice suddenly rings out in your head, and she says, "Drop the gun." I need you to make a contested power roll against that.
No, I think we're dropping this gun.
Oh no.
I'm sorry. Power of what?
50. It's not bad.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna do it.
Oh.
Okay.
Is this luckable?
It's
Contested,
luckable.
meaning
You would need a hard to
Yeah.
succeed, but
I
if
can
you
do
get
it,
it with
yeah.
a hard success,
Better.
We do it. We take the advantage. Burn the luck.
fantastic. You burn the luck, and you can feel this drilling into your head. These sort of like words ringing out in your skull, and you immediately become aware that you have been influenced with some kind of magic. The same thing that all of these people must have been talking about. I will need you to make a sanity check. You will lose some sanity this campaign. I will, yes, take a d4. Witnessing a spell for the first time at this point, it's a little.
You can't really explain this one away.
No, unfortunately not.
All right.
Do you want to roll that, Alex?
Yeah.
I don't trust my luck anymore.
Watch me fuck this up.
Ooh.
Nice.
Is that temp? I don't know how low you guys put it.
No,
No?
it won't be.
Oh
will it?
no, we got to lose
No,
10.
no.
Okay, you're totally fine then. It's a hit. But what you also feel immediately is the unk burning in your pocket, starting to get hotter and hotter and hotter. You feel. You really feel like you just want to grab it, and you will feel so much better. But you can hold off for the time being. As you manage to just cast the instructions out of your mind, you keep hold of the gun, your fist tense around it. Mechanically, she used her turn to cast a spell on you, which you have resisted. It's now back up to the top of the round. You can see her frowning. She looks even more worried. She's losing control of the situation completely, but she, as I mentioned, partially is just kind of like acting on instinct here, so have that on mind as you go. Top of the turn, highball. Happy for him to just continue playing blocker? Okay,
Yeah.
which means that your turn next. What are you going to do?
Do we get close and try and disarm her, or?
You could still talk
I
this
mean,
down. You got an extreme
yeah.
success on the charm.
Yeah.
And to be there is definitely an angle here where you could try and diffuse this. Especially
the
since you
truth.
haven't panicked and you've resisted the spell. or you could go for the disarm. It's
We
it's
were
really
friends. You know, we never got a chance to talk again. Do we bring up good memories from childhood, and do we tell her that Hattie just lost her husband yesterday,
Yeah.
and you can't, this is too much death and too much tragedy. Like, what are you doing?
You,
We don't
you,
care
you
what you're doing. You don't
always.
need to tell us what you're doing. We're not interested in what you're doing. You know, you put the knife down, all's forgiven.
okay.
I like that.
Maybe? What do you
I
reckon?
like that. I like that
Yeah.
better.
Yeah. What
Don't know why
memory
people
do you throw forward, Alex? Give me another memory. It can be a second board game if you should wish.
Um, no, I think it's the same board game, but I think it's whenever there was a kid in the orphanage who was struggling to make friends, or they were new, or they were having a hard day, we'd always invite them into our games. Like, it was just the three of us, and we never had any permanent fourth members, but we would always invite people in if they just needed a friend. And I think I'll just remind her that we were not the kids who did mean shit to other people. We were never those people. Like, what are you doing? This isn't you.
Fantastic. I think that charm is only going to get you so far at this point. This firmly is going to land in persuade,
Okay.
and I think that we are with
Well, shit.
this many consistent successes. You don't have many points left, but let's see if we can pull something out. And you can, based on you've managed to fuse a lot of this, you can take a bonus die. She hasn't been attacked. I think we will let the dice decide here to a certain extent.
Did you do the honors?
Did we get to
Is
put
your
any
role playing?
point? Do we have any points in it that we can?
Did you? I think you put everything left in animal, Ken.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah,
Which was very
so
foolish.
You could always reach into your pocket and grab that ankh, and you
That's
really
what I'm
feel
wondering
like
about.
that might be able to give you a little bit of luck.
I'm wondering what her reaction might be. She seems to know a lot more than we do at this point.
It might not be a good reaction. We're getting somewhere with her. We don't have to pull it out though, right? We can
No,
just...
no. It's a real playing with the ring in the pocket kind of thing.
What's in my pocket?
What has it got in its pockets? What do you reckon, Jackson? Do we abuse the Ankh?
I don't see why not.
For the
It
sake of
seems
our
like
friends? Yeah, I mean, it's a
it
desperate
seems like a good
situation.
idea. It seems like a good thing. It's helping
Yeah.
us out.
Yeah. Whatever. We'll take whatever advantages we can get, right?
Okay. You slide a hand into your pocket and you clench it around. You feel a burn. It's not hot. It's more like a jolt of electricity shoot up your arm. As this point, you really kind of let this in. First of all, you become immune to the mental suggestion spell.
Oh, thank goodness.
Second of all, you can now take a bonus roll on all dodge checks, which is how, if you're curious, Highball survived the St. Valentine's Day massacre mechanically. Secondly, you can choose to roll for a skill using luck, if you would like. So if you want to make a persuade roll using your luck, you can. And that's going to have a bonus die attached to it. Now, that said, you wouldn't be able to luck it on the other side. So I'm not sure how that maths out, whether you're better to go for the persuade and try and luck it down. I defer.
No.
No, we got 10 persuade and 27 luck.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so no, that doesn't, we're better off rolling luck and
All right.
treating that as the roll.
Perfect. Let's go for it then. I think it's a low chance, it's an outside chance, but you've set the tone to a certain point, and there is you've already pushed the range of outcomes here towards helping you. Let's go.
Shall I?
Do the honors.
Fingers crossed. 58.
Not great.
No.
Bonus
Did we get
die?
the bonus die?
Oh no, the bonus die isn't going to help if we roll a 2. No, never mind.
Unfortunately not.
No.
Heck.
You weigh your words as much as you can, and suddenly there's an outpouring from Emmy. She tries to say, I know, and but they were gonna cast it on me and then take my body from me, just like and I could. She sort of gestures wildly towards Hattie, who's trying to free herself at this point. She looks towards you. You still got a gun. She's dropped her knife based on the outcome of that first result, and with the sort of like power emanating off of you. In terms of like a magical sense, her spells are not going to help her here. She needs a little insight into mechanics. She needs the knife and to be adjacent to Hattie to perform her big body swap spell, which is pretty cool. She can't cast mental suggestion on animals, and you're immune to it, and Hattie's bound. I think, based on all of this, she is going to run. And she is going to make for the fire escape that is at the other side that you left behind. And I guess my question for you is, do you let her go?
How do you start on the roof? Oh.
I'd be more. The angel on the shoulder is saying, "Yeah, you rescue Hattie. You got to save Hattie."
Yeah, but okay. What if we we have to run past Hattie, right?
You would have to leave Hattie tied up on the roof here.
Yeah, I'm thinking
and it's more to the point. If you chase her, you're gonna it forces a confrontation at this point. It will go down to, all right, you're going to combat. Like, you try to either subdue or kill her.
She doesn't have her knife anymore. We know that she's around. We can probably find her another time. I think we've just got to untie Hattie and let her go. Part of my brain's like, do we try and give Hattie the knife to unbind herself and chase her? But like, I think we're quick, and I think it's more of a danger to Emmy if we chase her.
I think we got to rescue Hattie, and even if that means that we don't find out the full mystery of what happened to Emmy, then it just means that you'll have to go to chaosium.com and buy Does Love Forgive for self-cover.
And play it for yourself.
Absolutely. You rush over to Hattie and go to let her down as Emmy reaches the fire escape and before long vanishes from sight. Going to zoom out here as we hit the 12 p.m. in Australia mark, but you get her free, and she's still dazed from a very powerful mental suggestion spell that was cast at her that compelled her to follow Hattie along to the ritual site that was set up, but you'll be able to get her down to safety. As a sort of final thing, I think that Alex, do you want to give a little epilogue for Hattie specifically here? What ends up happening with Hattie from going forward?
All right. I think we get the Unk back to Hattie.
Oh, you return it. Very good.
Without her knowing, like, because I don't know how she feels about all that stuff, but it definitely does something. And you know what? We can take care of ourselves. But I think we keep the knife.
Yeah.
But I think Hattie moves out of Chicago. I think she leaves Chicago behind. And I think her and Highball go west and move to LA.
Very good. No crime in LA, fortunately. So
no crime in LA. No crime in LA.
It's all good. Jackson, you were all keen on letting Emmy go. So do you want to give a little Emmy epilogue here? What would she do? And for a little context of just so Emmy. You can, it was Emmy. But the story is that without giving too much away, so that people still go grab the book, there was a mystic Maraid. And Emmy came in as an assistant, and then got a little bit of a Sith situation happening here. But Emmy is still Emmy, but had been betrayed and had nowhere else to go, and has been holding a flame for you for so long.
Maybe. Oh yeah, I mean that's heartbreaking. Maybe this like confrontation with her past kind of rattled her enough that she can kind of finally put all of this to bed, and she realizes that, you know what, maybe she just needs a fresh start, and she moves west to LA.
That's fantastic. Oh, that's so good.
Can you imagine her like like
Or they
getting
meet at
off
the
the train and
airport.
being like, wait, what?
That is so
Hey.
funny. I adore it. And the last thing would be, as Angel and Devil. Then we zoom out over the Chicago skyline. Skyline is very funny because that anyway. What what's the end for Valentino here? How are you going to get him to LA?
Is he going to fall in with
Does
one
he
of the
fall in
mobs,
with the
one of
mob, and does he
gangs?
fall in to looking into what that unk was? Is the question you've got to leave every investigation that went almost semi well.
Oh yeah, I think
there
so.
does end up being like a power vacuum situation. Like this, like the Valentine's Day Massacre started a lot of shit. Like it changed a lot of things for a lot of people.
Valentino is a very Italian name.
It is. And you know, like the Valentine's Day Massacre basically ruined Al Capone's reputation. And he was once a figure that, you know, people would cheer when he'd show up to baseball games, which is crazy. And this completely ruined, and he basically became public enemy number one at this point. I think, what if we pursue that law thing?
Yeah.
You know, if this is like the crackdown on the mob, man, they're gonna need a lot of lawyers, and maybe they start thinking, you know, maybe we need some Italian lawyers who are not connected to the mob to, you know, make this look a little bit more legit.
And that's when you start getting into tax law. Perfect.
Yeah.
We're brilliant. Okay, fantastic. We have a final point. We have a sorceress on the loose. I completely ship the idea of those two meeting and getting up to all kinds of investigation nonsense over in LA. But that will leave our scenario for today. So that's the first scenario of Does Love Forgive? And there is another one in the book, and you can check it out. There's also a bunch of different ways that you can run this. You can lean really hard into the sort of like romance angles of it, or you can stay away from those sections. There's a bunch of really cool handouts, which we didn't necessarily lean into because of the two-headed dragon approach makes it a little different for how you want to go through those things. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for playing, Jackson and Alex, and thanks to thanks to Sirenscape and Roll20, tools which we use to improve our games. We will be back next week, returning to the Order of the Stone. And I'm sure we'll at some point play the other Does Love Forgive scenario, but who knows when? At some point. Cool. That's the lot of it. Thanks everybody, and see you around.
Yeah.